Good morning, 7:51. We're still at 50 in clouds. We need to break out of this and get some sunshine in here. Some sunshine right now in the WHBY Myron Construction Studios. We have talked to this young lady months ago, and now she's in our studios. BJ Pryor is here. Hi, BJ. How are you?
I'm great, Dave. Thanks for asking.
That is an amazing jacket. You have quite an accumulation of goodies through the years,
Yes,
haven't you?
this is my veterans jacket. I wear it every time I go to the different posts. It's just for them, and they are so gracious to give me pins from their post.
You are the author of Behind My Wings, and we're going to talk about where you were many, many years ago, and also where you're going to be here for the next few years. But I actually get to call you a stewardess, right?
That's correct.
Because we can't use that anymore.
I know. Well, actually, when I first started flying, it was air hostess.
Oh.
It was back in '68, and then that turned into stewardess or steward, and now flight attendant.
When did it come up, though, that you were going to do this in and out of Vietnam?
When I started flying in '68, when I came off of probation, I signed up for it. I knew Continental was serving the veterans, and so I signed up for it.
Did you have any idea of what you were getting into?
I had none. We had to get all the shots, as the soldiers did, and our training was safety. We carried an ID card with us, listing us as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force, in case of being captured or killed.
How many flights would you estimate?
In the 2 years that I flew those flights, my husband and I estimated that I had nearly 70,000 troops on my flight back and forth.
And I would assume then that became harder and harder to see those troops disembark and to head off the plane?
Yes, it became very difficult. And it was a lifestyle, a crazy lifestyle, taking them there. You know what was going on here in America. And I think what led us to do some of the things that we did as crew members, we did party hard. And I dated a lot then.
Sure.
And I told myself the very first trip that I had into Saigon, I did not know I was going to get so emotional because I did it all for duty. And after the soldiers had deplaned, they're 18, 19-year-olds. I was still in my 20s, and I got very emotional. Everybody was off the aircraft, and I went up to the cockpit and closed the door, and I cried. And I had a little talk with myself saying, if you're going to do this, don't ever cry. And I didn't. And tremendous stories that were shared with me from the veterans, but I never cried again.
Tell me something from one of those stories, from one of those troops that you met. Anything stand out that you go, I still remember that to this day?
Actually, that's a good question. There were a couple of them would share with me that maybe they were the only ones from their unit that survived.
Oh, no.
And then I had one young man, awesome, taking him over, and I remember taking him back. So that was a joyful time for us. And he was heartbroken because he also had lost all his men over there.
Could you notice the change from when they came to when you took them home?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. You know, they were young. They just came out of boot camp, taking them over. It was rah, rah, rah. You know, I'm going to do this. And then bringing them back, you could see that they had experienced the depth of what war does to individuals.
BJ Elliott Pryor is joining us, the author of Behind My Wings. When did you decide to do this? When did you decide I can put my thoughts down into a book?
I flew for Continental for 40 years.
Wow.
But the first 2 years after I came off probation, I signed up and did the military flights. They're called MAC flights.
Right.
And I had always wanted to write about those 2 years. And after I retired, took care of my parents, and then my co-writer, Linda Weiss, actually she's from Oshkosh, and she loves to write, and she said, I'll help you. And so I began with my high school classmates. That's how the book started. I started with each one of their stories.
What was life like for you after you were done flying, after it was all done? Was it difficult? Was it therapeutic to write the book?
Yes, actually, It definitely was. It was, I thought, oh, I can do this, I'm okay. I'll just go back one point. My husband and I were married in 1975, and I'm blessed with a wonderful family. He supports me wholeheartedly. But in 95, we went to see Forrest Gump. And I had told my husband that I had been over there, and I didn't realize all those emotions, but after seeing that movie, I just cried. I broke down and cried, and he had no idea why I was crying. And I just told him, I said, all those soldiers, I remember so much and what they shared, and so I just broke down.
With Lieutenant Dan.
Yes, absolutely.
The bubblegum tree.
Yes.
All those things.
Yes. It just kind of all came back.
Now, BJ, and we mentioned the jacket that you're wearing, the hat that you're wearing.
Yes.
You're going to be doing numerous speaking engagements
yes,
coming up.
I am.
We should probably get to that right away. Go ahead.
Yes, tonight, actually, I'm going to be speaking at the American Legion Post 234. And, I want to say I love the veterans, and that's why I wrote the book. It's for the veterans, and this is going to be Memorial Day, and I can't wait to speak on Memorial Day.
And
but tonight,
I was going to mention that's OMRO, by the way.
Yes.
OMRO's American Legion.
Yes, thank you. That's an OMRO. Okay. And then Friday, I'm going to speak at the Parkview Health Center. That's in Oshkosh on Butler, and that's at 2 o'clock. And I can't wait because there's so many veterans there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be very patriotic. I'm going to do a memorial service speech there.
Oh, good.
And then Memorial Day, of course, I'm going to be involved in a parade, and that's in Oshkosh, Algoma, and Jackson. And then immediately after the parade, I'll be speaking at the Riverside Cemetery.
Okay. Good.
So all veterans are welcome there.
And you're not done yet. You're still going to be here Tuesday.
Yes, but something else just came up. I'm going to be speaking at the Y.
Oh.
That's in Oshkosh. It's a book signing. That's at the YMCA on 20th Street. That's what I know. I thought, that just threw it. They want me to come over there? I will go anywhere with my book. Yes, and speak. And then another neat thing after Memorial Day, that is going to be so special. I can't wait to share with the families and the veterans. But I'm going to go to Oshkosh West High School. That's my co-writer's high school.
Linda.
At 10 o'clock in the morning, and that is open to the public. And I will be showing my slides. I show slides. I do a lot of presentation, PowerPoint.
How do we get a hold of this, by the way, Linda? Or
yes,
BJ?
You can go online, and you can go behindmywings.com. You can see my website. You can order your book, and there's a place where I can, if you put down your name, I can sign it personally to you.
And go ahead.
And all the events that we will be at this week. And thank you, Dave, for giving me this opportunity for the interview.
Absolutely, and I wish I had more time. We are really running short. Did you find this to be a healing process for the veterans as well when you talk to them?
Thank you. That was the other question you had asked me. Absolutely. Not only was it healing and closure for the veterans that I wrote about, their stories, as difficult as it was to write their stories, but when veterans hear me speak, and I always say, if I see any Vietnam veterans, which I love so much, I would lay down my life for any Vietnam veteran. They know that there's healing as well.
BJ, thank you so much for the time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Behind My Wings, BJ Elliott Pryor, WHBY, Kimberly Appleton, Fox 56.